Good morning. Good morning. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Got a nice breakfast. We've got French toast back there. Hello. Let's all say good morning. Rowdy group this morning. So we've got great sponsors who brought fun food this morning. Thank you very much. Bacon and I don't know what those egg things are. They look great. And French toast. So thank you very much. Let's start with Brandon with KB Homes. Brandon, come on up. Tell us what's happening. Give him a warm welcome, please.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, Todd, Stacy, for letting me bug you out to come in again. I recognize some faces I don't. I was here probably about 4 or 5 months ago. I just wanted to provide a little bit of an update with KB. And first off, I was thinking I was driving in, as I mentioned with Todd and Stacy, I really appreciate this office, and I've had great success with several of your fellow agents. And, a lot of our success comes from our partnerships here in this room, and so I just want you to know that it is very important to KB, this relationship, right? It's why we want to feed you with some really nice catered breakfast and not just, cold sandwiches or, Chick-fil-A, or nothing wrong with that, right? But, it's important, this relationship, and we hope that you have a good perception of KB, and how we will take care of your clients. And you guys, you have your clients, and we consider the real estate community one of our clients. And so we definitely want to make sure we take care of you and your customers of equal importance, okay? And so just a couple moments, I wanted to share a couple things. Just a little bit of information. I'll talk about my community second, but it's Build Your Business. We have quite a few new communities opening up, and so I know some of you work more on the north side, some south side, east, west, and so I hope that if you are struggling to find a resale home that fits your client's needs, that KB would be a builder you would come at least consider. We have some new communities opening up by the Gala Resort called Painted Prairie that we're really getting excited about. That's going to be single family and paired communities. We have a community opening up in South Parker in Stone Creek Ranch. That's probably going to be opening up next month. My community is going to be in Castle Pines. We're really excited about. And so we're still trying to grow. We're trying to drive for affordability. We know that's a challenge in the market. So we're doing whatever we can to have opportunities pretty much across the metro area. And as I've mentioned before, but it's definitely worth repeating, the commitment KB has to your clients of making sure they do not close on their home unless they are 100% complete. Their home is 100% complete and they're 100% satisfied is second to none. All the national builders, we all send out surveys, we all kind of get general reports, and I don't know specific numbers, but I do know with certainty that far and away KB does have the highest customer satisfaction rating, and that's your clients ranking or giving their feedback on their sales experience, the design studio, the mortgage, the construction, the closing, the warranty. And right now, our year goes December through November, so we have 11 months worth of data, and our customer satisfaction rate is 94.5%. And so that's something, more than anything else, we take something away is you can trust that your clients will be taken care of, and we'll do everything we can to make sure it's a great experience, so then they have a positive experience and be a referral source for you. You guys are important, and we do pay 3% on the total sales price. I think we are one of the few builders that do offer that. And so with KB, there's a lot of ways you can make choices. And so if someone puts $50,000 in options in there, that's not $1,500 you're losing out on. And so that's important. We want to make sure we're on par with what you can do on the resale side. And we can pay when the home breaks ground. Sometimes in building from the ground up, that's not always ideal to wait 6-7 months in some cases. And so we've listened, and we do that opportunity to get paid a portion of the full commission at foundation, which is roughly 90 days after signing paperwork, not too much off what a resale transaction would be. So those are things we want to do to partner, and in good times where things, slow down a little bit, we want to still be together. And like I said, we want you guys to, if there's nothing on the resale side or you're struggling, hey, every home at KB is Energy Star certified, independently tested. I'm in a 2,200 square foot home. I closed just about 2 years ago with KB. My Excel bill for the past 12 months has averaged $105. So you get incredibly energy efficient. You get a great new home warranty where we proactively touch base 5 times within the first 18 months. And then you have a structural warranty going through 10 years. Clients aren't having to call a 1-800 number like some other new home builders have. We have an on-site team. So those are great ways we want to make sure you take care of your clients and you. And then just real quickly, this brochure does have a map of everywhere. It has a little bit of idea of what our price points are. And then finally, my community, really excited about it. Not sure how much, I know Shay's been doing quite a bit as well, promoting the new community in Castle Pines at the Canyons. We're now finally getting close. Shay, their product is over right now. Our models are near completion. We're hoping to be furnished and merchandise early November. The neat thing with our community is we are going to be doing our paired home style, which we've had a lot of success across the metro area, but it's going to be on a ranch style. So the villa patio homes, our HOA for our specific neighborhood is just $66 a month. The master will be $125, but in that $66 will cover trash, recycling, front yard landscaping, and snow removal. So it's been something, like I said, in all of paired home 2 stories. People have loved them, but they've asked, do you have anything that would be this on a ranch plan? And very excited that we do now. And if you guys haven't been to the Canyons, Shea Property Development, they do a great job in these master plan communities. If you guys are familiar with backcountry or stepping stone, you know that they don't just scrape the ground. This topography, it rises and falls. There's over the third of the community is going to be left to open space, 15 miles of trails. There's families, there's going to be family rec center, more of a adult centered rec center resort style pool. So it's going to be just a world-class master plan community. So like I said, if there's a little flyer on here, it has our office line. We are on site now on a sales trailer. We can get out there and see the great vistas that are in our community and throughout the neighborhood. And I just thank you for the partnerships that we have, and I do hope that we can continue to work together and have, build on the success we've had in the past. So if I can answer a question too, if Todd and Stacy allows that, if someone has that, I'd be more than happy to. Otherwise, come out and see me, and it'd be great to spend some more time with each and every one of you. Yes?
On top of the 2 HOA fees, is there a metro district as well?
There is some metro districts into the taxes. So the property tax rate out there is, I looked at the Douglas County website and did all the calculations, comes in right at about 1.2%. So one metro district is for just the infrastructure development, and the other 2 metro districts are for the upkeep of all the common areas. There's going to be a coffee bar, it's called an exchange house, so it's going to be pretty awesome. So the 1.2 taxes, and then the total HOA in our community will be 191. The 125 for the canyons, and 66 for the low maintenance lock and lean aspects of our homes. I guess I should mention real quick, the ranches are going to be 1,500 to 1,800 square feet, full unfinished basements, can finish basements, we get up to about 2,800. We are just about finalized on base pricing, but you're looking probably about 5 to 523 will be our starting base price range. So any other questions? Okay, Stacy, thank you so much. And we will have a broker event when our model's open, so I'll be pestering them and Paul as well, so we can have a nice event there and you guys can walk through our model. So thanks so much, I appreciate it, guys.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it. Next we have Lisa Suazo, Lisa Suazo, and Gina Bochelle with Way Fun Girls. No, it's not Way Fun. Tell us what's going on with you guys at Title Company, and then we're going to learn just a little bit about cybersecurity.
I probably don't even need this. Good morning, everyone. I'm Gina, and that is Lisa. We are with WFG Title. They're kind of new to Colorado, but they're not new in business. They're national in 48 states, just so you know. It's not a no-name, teeny-tiny, rinky-dink. So it's a big company. And I'm in sales, like you guys. And we have the luxury, I'll call it, of working with Lisa Suazo. She is our marketing and technology director. And her sole purpose is to keep us all educated on what's happening in the in the technology space and marketing, and cybersecurity has been top of mind for all of us with wire fraud and all of that. We're all so responsible for our clients, you my clients, you your own clients. So she has a great presentation for you today that'll kind of connect all the dots. So thank you for having us. We're so happy to be here with you guys. Thank you.
Hello. There was a microphone early morning. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Gina, for that introduction. My name is Lisa Suazo, and as Gina mentioned, I'm essentially a resource to her and to the other sales executives with WFG National Title in the marketing and technology space. So we help do marketing consulting for the most part with clients, but we also do tech consulting. And so what I wanted to share with you guys this morning were just some helpful hints around cybersecurity. So nothing like, cup of coffee and cybersecurity to kick your morning off. So let's just dive into this. So why talk cybersecurity, right? Why does this matter to you guys? Well, as you all are aware, I'm sure, wire fraud is a growing problem in our industry. And so if your email gets hacked, not only would that put you at risk, but it also puts your clients at risk. And so one of the things I just want to talk about today is really what are some of the ways that hackers break in and how can you protect yourself? It's actually, there's simple things that you can do that can make a really big difference. And so I want to share those. But first, I want to share a story with you. This is one of those things, when we talk about wire fraud and cybersecurity, it's always easy to be like, oh, yeah, it's a problem, it's never going to happen to me, it's not going to happen to us, it feels far away from home. Well, this is a family, the Cole family, and they were clients of WFG's in Portland, Oregon. And December of last year, just a couple weeks before Christmas, they were the victims of wire fraud. So I want to share their story with you, and Paul may have to help me figure out how I'm going to do this. Perfect, thank you. Quick 3-minute video, guys.
I was halfway between work and Clackamas going to deliver some parts, driving the shop truck, and got a call that said they were ready to send me some wire instructions. And I told the nice lady on the phone that I'd already taken care of that about a week ago. She said, oh, that's wonderful. And she started looking into it and says, are you sure? I said, well, what do you mean? So, yeah, when did you send me the email? I sent it to her, and she instantly says, oh my goodness, this isn't us. After leaving the bank and talking to the title company and realizing that this happens all the time and that I was kind of on my own and that they were sorry, but they can't, protect everybody from this if we're not paying attention. That was the worst feeling in the world, knowing that I had to go home and tell my wife that, stop packing the stuff. I know we have already sold our house, but now we're not getting our other house because I don't have any money left. I sit down and I'm never had anything where you can't come up with the words. Like I'm trying to spit it out, and I'm telling her like, okay, I'm just gonna spit this out. And I still can't come up with the words, and I just felt like I was gonna get sick. I mean, it's just the most gut-wrenching feeling I've ever had in life. And then I tell her, and obviously you have that second of, ha, you're kidding, right? Real funny, but, and then she just fell apart.
It'll never happen to you. Never. Until it does. And generally when it does, it's brutal. It is disastrous.
I think there's a little bit of Aaron who was upset with himself that he fell victim to this. He was upset with us because he thought, well, why didn't you protect me? If I put myself in our shoes, it's look at the big signature line with the big flashing red exclamation point and this disclosure, but I live this every day. I'm fully aware of it. He's not. Aaron Cole and his family, they're a victim of a crime.
Mine was actually less than what they get on average when they get somebody. That's insane. Can you imagine if you had $130,000 in cash sitting in your hand and, someone walked off with it, stuff you spend your entire life trying to save to be able to buy a house or send your kids to school.
When we sat down and looked at our options, what we really realized is there was a chance for us to help Aaron and his family, and at the same time be able to help so many other families from going through what he went through.
I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit, you guys.
Wire fraud has been happening at
Numbers of the people that they were impersonating at the title place. The only difference is they changed an email address slightly, so you can't tell. They actually put the real phone numbers of the people that they were impersonating at the title company in their signatures, of course. So if I had picked up the phone and called the number for the lady that they were impersonating, she would have known instantly that she didn't send me that.
This is a social engineering attack, right? It's a sudden change. It's a sense of urgency, and there's a consequence. And if you have those three things together, you should stop.
The fact that we did get this fixed, is miraculous because there were so many people who don't. We're not the only ones who have kids and who have worked hard for this stuff their entire lives, and to actually have lost that money and have it be gone, I cannot imagine what I would be feeling like right now. So, when it comes down, the only difference is they changed an email address slightly, so you can't tell. They actually put the real phone.
So I wanted to, I ended up sharing the video that was a little bit longer, but essentially I wanted to put a personal element so that you could see this. With the Cole family, it was our client, we felt awful, and we actually were lucky enough, put our heads together with West, the marketing side of things, and WFG National Title, and because the Cole family had lost exactly $123,000, we couldn't replace that, right? If that was the precedent, then we would go broke in no time, but we were able to actually hire Aaron Cole as a spokesperson for our company on the dangerous wire fraud, and we were able to actually pay him a salary of exactly $123,000 so that his family was actually able to close. They ended up closing about a week before Christmas. So it was a really wonderful, beautiful story. Not all of them turn out with happy endings like that though, right? So what I want to just share with you is, first, to protect yourself from wire fraud. Your title company is literally never going to send out wire instructions via email. They won't send out change instructions via email. So know that, and please educate your clients on that as well. Now, every title company has a little bit of a different policy. I kind of want to let you know what WFGs are. So there are a couple different ways that your clients can get wire instructions, right? So the first is they can just go into an office and get them in person. They'll talk to the person at the front desk. We can hand them an actual, like a flyer, a handout, so that they have those instructions. And then they can also call someone. Now when it comes to online, we're not going to do anything via email, but what we will do is we have two ways that your clients can actually access wire instructions online. The first is through their My Home account. WFG has a really cool tool called My Home that basically allows your clients transparency into the closing process, where they're at, where they're at in the process. And one of the things that they have in their My Home account is access to documents. Wire instructions is one of those. Registration is required, and the reason we can keep them there is because it's a secure environment. The other thing that they can do is, if they don't create a My Home account, so they don't, there's no registration required, they can also go to what we call the My Home Wire Instructions dashboard, which if they go to wfgmyhome.com/wire instructions, they have to enter some important information. The escrow number, the property address, some additional stuff so that they can actually prove who they are and gain access. But those are just a couple things. So please check with your title company to see exactly what their process is, and just be able to educate your clients on what that is before the process, so that that reduces the likelihood, right? Now, the other thing that happens is because there's such huge exchanges of money, these hackers will run scripts. They follow title companies, real estate agents, transactions, banks, And they have certain trigger words, where if a trigger word comes up, they actually will start monitoring your emails, and they'll monitor them for a really long time, and basically look for opportunities to insert themselves into the conversation and really pose as someone else. They may pose as you, they may pose as the title company, and they can make slight adjustments to an email address to where if somebody just responds to that email, that's what happened to the Coles. So I want to share with you just quickly 5 steps to protect yourself from having these types of things happen. So number 1, it sounds so simple, but just slowing down. I know asking a real estate agent to slow down is kind of like asking the impossible, but it's one of those things where you know, right? When you get an email and something seems a little off, or maybe, you know, someone's talking in a way that they don't normally talk, or maybe the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, they're sending you an attachment and asking you to look at it, and it's not something that you were expecting or that makes really relevant sense. Pay attention to those feelings, pay attention, and pick up the phone and call. If you're ever uncertain, don't email anything, don't click on attachments, don't send things to the links in emails. Just slow down and notice. The other thing that I would recommend that you all do is run a malware scan on your computer. One of the things we talk about is changing passwords and doing these things to protect yourself, but if you already have some sort of malicious software on your computer, it may detect your changes, and so you're not doing yourself any favors. So one of the things that we recommend is there is a free malware scan. If you go to malwarebytes.com, you can download this and do a quick and easy scan. I recommend doing one periodically, whether for you that's once a week, once a month, once a day. But that way that you can just make sure that your device stays clean. This scan is one that our VP of IT recommends, so I feel safe saying this one. Another thing that you can do is create strong passwords. So once you run a malware scan, you find out your device is clean, perfect. So you want to create some stronger passwords. And what does that mean? There's 3 things that make a great password. So I'm just going to run through them really quick. Number 1, length. Actually, length is the most important piece of your password. So if you want to have something that's a minimum of 12 characters, but I recommend doing 24 up to 32, the max out of what they allow. So if you're like, how in the heck am I going to create a 24 to 32 character password? I have a suggestion for you. You can actually use a sentence. So you can do a sentence, a song lyric, something that makes sense to you. Secondly, you want to add some complexity. So say I take a song lyric, like Don't Stop Believin'. And what I can do then is add uppercase, lowercase symbols. So maybe I do don't and I have a capital D, and for my O I use a 0 instead of an O. That's what I'm talking about. Add in some exclamation points, do those kinds of things. The length plus complexity is going to be really helpful. Lastly, variety. Don't have your password be the same on everything. I've been guilty of this too. But if you have it the same on everything, you're more easily compromised. So what's the solution, since none of us have, amazing superhero memories? Look to using a password manager. This is another thing that I would recommend, something like LastPass or 1Password. This enables you to only have to literally remember one password, and then you log into the password manager, and the password manager encrypts your passwords for you and remembers them, and will essentially insert them into the different places that you log into. So you typically have to pay a small fee, but it can be really, really worth it. And then finally, use what we call multi-factor authentication, or 2-step. This basically means that there's an extra level of security logging in. So if you've ever had to log into something where you put in your password, and then it says it's going to send you a text verification to your phone, and you have to enter that text verification in, that's an example of 2-step, meaning they call it 2-step, or multi-factor, meaning something you know, something you have, and something you are. It's going to ask you for 2 of those 3. So you can turn on 2-step verification on a lot of different programs that you guys use now, social media, things like zip forms, DocuSign. So consider turning that on for that extra level of security. And finally, just kind of to wrap up, it may seem like a pain in the butt, but it really, you know, as Ben says, an ounce of prevention really is worth a pound of cure. These little things can help. If you have questions specifically on cybersecurity, on passwords, if you want recommendations on a password manager or whatever that is, I'm always a resource available to talk. So please go see Gina, come talk to me. We can always set up a time. We'd love to help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And are you teaching the class? We have a class on October 28th about cybersecurity.
Yes.
You're actually teaching.
I will be teaching it. Yeah, so come to the class too. You'll get lots of good details.
Awesome. Thanks again to our sponsors. Round of applause to them, please. And then I'm going to give just like 30 seconds. I know we got sponsors here, but they really do help us out, and it's good to know who our partners are and who we can trust out there. American Home Shield Warranty, John Herman is the regional director. He's been awesome for years. I've known him for a long time. Now we got Art Pratt, who's our local rep. We have a really cool product with them. We're only one of 5 companies in the entire nation that are being offered this. It's exclusive to us. I'm going to give John like 30 seconds to tell us, or who's telling us? Run up here quickly. You can learn more about it in the back, go in the back, talk to them. But I did see on our Facebook page here, just a few days ago, you guys talking about home warranty programs. And some people didn't like this company, some people didn't like that company. And we had a lot of people saying, I like American Home Shield. They do a great job. The nice thing about American Home Shield is we do have a relationship with the regional. So if we have issues, that's always the thing. You know, I try and recommend people, but I don't always have a say in how things go. We at least have a really good relationship here that if something's not going right, and Paul's pointing at something. Oh, we're not in this frame. I'm sorry, we're not on Facebook. So we have a good relationship. So if you have issues, you can come to us and we can help you. 30 seconds on what this cool thing is, though.
Terrific. Good morning. It's great to see some familiar faces. It's been a while since I've been here. Just very quickly, I want to say just a tremendous thank you to Todd. As he mentioned, there are only 5 companies in the United States who are going to be engaged in this pilot period. It is a pilot period. The concept is very simple. Home warranties provide for repairs and replacements. There's things that we don't do for the buyer after move-in, such as small upgrades they may want to do to the home, working with moving services, connecting utilities, working with internet providers. So those are all bundle of services that we're going to be partnering with another company to provide in conjunction with our home warranty. I'm going to turn it over to Art for about 10 seconds here, but that's the concept, and really appreciate the opportunity to test it with you folks.
Good morning. At the end of the meeting, please come back and see me. I'm going to have more information in regards to these services that are going to be offered. I'm also going to have 3 separate days or times that we can meet for coffee. So if you do work in a team and you want to meet for coffee up the street or in your office, I would be happy to do that and share that information with you. So please come see me afterwards and we'll discuss it further. Thank you guys.
Thank you. And thanks for asking us to be part of this. I'm going to go through this stuff real quick because I know you guys all want to hear from our panelists. So, new agents. If you're new to the company or just haven't been to a sales meeting and received an e-pin, please jog up here and introduce yourself and get your equity e-pin. We just have one newbie that hasn't been here yet. All right. Just your name and street.
Yeah, so I'm Drew Burton, from Colorado originally. Went out to Stanford University, was a gymnast there. Went to DC, worked in politics, didn't like it. Came to Colorado, now in the real estate game, looking forward to it. Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Welcome. Glad you're here. Quick announcements. Our monthly survey drawing that's done corporate-wide. When you guys turn in your survey, you put into the little pool. We used to give the $10 gift card. I still have people say, I like the $10. I know, I like the $10 too. But I'd rather have $1,000. And we did have another winner, Lewis Chang, $1,000 winner. Turn in those surveys, and we do read them. And you guys know we read them because we respond to you a lot. So, thank you very much. Thanks. Appreciate it. In the back, equity jackets. Tomorrow it's gonna be 20 degrees. We have equity jackets in the back for $50. And then, how much are those little, folders? Binders, 25 bucks. Mike was asking about that too. So we have some binders back there. People forget that we have these on hand in the store. So let's get on with our panel here. We have Kathy Harder. Come on up. You've got your little name tags. Maybe Paul, you can get the lights back on. Michael Carter, Greg Tiffin, Will Davis, and Rocio Cantelli. Cantelli? Cantelli. I had that right the first time.
Woohoo!
Welcome, This is a big deal to be in front of you guys, because you guys have told me that you don't all love public speaking like I do. I always forget that. So thank you for doing this. I don't know who's nervous or not nervous. I reached out to these agents. I reached out to these agents. All of them have a different personality, a different way of doing business. I do know how you guys do business. We talk a lot, and I see what you're doing. They're all very consistent in what they do. We have agents up here from 20 years in the business, probably. How long have you been in business, Greg?
21.
21 years, good guess. 21 years in the business. Maybe 5 years is probably the least in the business. Maybe Will's full. So we got a good span. Newer to really experienced, but they're all doing really well. They're all very consistent. They're not necessarily the number one agents in our office, and we do hear from our number one agents. You know, we've talked to the Mark Bakers and the Eileen Kitkos and the Karinas, and you know, sometimes what they're doing is like, oh my God, I can never do that. Well, let's talk to the people that are doing really well, but maybe we can achieve what they're doing. We have agents here, and I'll let them kind of tell them what they're doing and how much business they do, but I know we have agents, 20 transactions. We have agents up here who have only done 9 transactions, but are pushing $200,000 in commissions earned because they have really high sales. So we've got a nice mix in here that I think everyone can take away from what is it that you guys are doing. So we've got some questions here. Not every one of you has to answer every single question. We'll throw it out, and you guys put up your hand. I really like this question. I'll talk to it, and I might pry a little bit out of some of you, and then we'll have a little Q&A with the rest. But we're gonna try and push this, 45 minutes. We're gonna have a short time for listings today, because I think it's important to see what normal, everyday people are doing and how successful you can be. So, questions?
I was just
Like,
realizing that I
where's my
didn't print out my
questions?
question. So yeah, I'm grabbing them
Oh,
real quick
first,
while we do
we're doing the
introductions.
introduction. So we'll start with Kathy, and just, we're looking for how long you've been in the business, what you like about the business, why you got in the business. That'd be good enough.
Okay.
Hello. So I'm Kathy Harder. I've been doing real estate for about 5 years. I got into it just mostly because I had to do something, and so I joined Steve. He was in a year before I started, and he asked me to join him. And it was, believe it or not, real estate's my very first career. I never worked before I did real estate. I was an at-home mom, and I raised our 3 children. And so this was a big stretch for me to do something like this. And what else do you want to know? I like it. I like the business when I do it. When I do it right, I feel really good about it. And then there are the days that when I'm not doing it and I'm not being successful and I'm not bringing in new clients, that's when I don't like it. So I have an answer to that. So I'll let you go.
Hi, Greg Tiffin, and I started in the business almost 21 years to the day, actually. It was in October of 1998, so I was in a corporate position as a buyer, and I was traveling a lot, about 3 weeks out of the month, and I kind of got burnt out on that, and I took about 3 months off and looked at different business opportunities and decided what I wanted to do, and landed on real estate. But, well, I can do this. I like to take care of people, and I've been in some type of merchandising or sales background since I was 16, so I've been involved with working with people for a long time. So I took the plunge and went for it, and it's been just a wonderful, wonderful business. I love taking care of people. I love the I know we have a big impact on people's lives and what we do for them, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction in being able to take care of them.
Hi everybody, Rocio Cantelli. I've been licensed for 4 years and working with equity ever since. I'm a single mom with 2 kids in elementary school. I got in the business when I divorced 5 years ago and was working for the DPS, Denver Public Schools, and I knew that was not gonna get me where I wanted to be economically. And real estate has given me not only the freedom to make as much money as I'm able, depending on how hard I work, but it's given me the freedom to take care of my kids and have time for them. I do love it. I like helping people. Like you said, I think what we do is very important. I know that you're helping somebody achieve their dreams. For me, it's a greater satisfaction. Thank you.
And never too busy for your Spanish-speaking referrals, right? My name is Will Davis. I've been in real estate for 3.5 years. Been with Todd Stacy and Paul Parker the whole time. I did a lot of things. I did all of the things before I got into real estate. I was director of a nonprofit. I did EMS for a little bit. I was a mountain guide. I worked retail. I did everything. So I have had a roller coaster ride in real estate. My first year was about as bad as you can possibly imagine, and things have been better since. So I feel like I can relate to everybody. Wherever you are on the roller coaster, I've been there or I'm there now. It's the best job I've ever had. I really like helping people. I really thrive on challenges and problems, turbulence, which we seem to have a lot of in our jobs. And it's just kind of gratifying for me to be able to do something for someone that they couldn't do on their own. I really enjoy that. Yeah, I think that's enough.
Michael Carter, and I've been a real estate agent with Rocio for about 4 years, coming on 5 years now. And like Will, I've done a lot of different things. I'm 56 years old now, and can't believe I still haven't grown up, but maybe I have now that I'm a real estate agent. But Todd and Stacey have been trying to get my wife and I to be real estate agents for, I don't know, since we've known you. And finally, we caved in, and I got my license again, like I said, about 5 years ago, and my wife just got hers, and that's been huge for us, for her to use her sphere and to bring the people that she knows into our real estate business, and that's really been key for us. But love the business. It frees up your time. It's so fun, as we all know, to see somebody when they walk in and they find their home that they just love. That's the neatest feeling, to know that you were a part of that, and I love that part of it. Not as much as I do the closing table, but it's not bad. and just the free time. So it's fantastic. Love this job.
Awesome. Well, we've got a diverse group up here. Everyone's got a different background, single mom, EMS, past professional cyclist, mom, homemaker, and they're all very successful. To be successful, you need leads. Leads, as we all know, is the #1 thing in this business. We have some people in this industry that will pay for leads and go to a company where they'll take 50% of their commission so that somebody will give them a deal. I don't think that's a great business model. That's not what I've ever believed in. I believe in teaching you guys how to generate those, therefore you have control of your business. So, leads. Where do you guys get your leads from? Where is your business coming from?
Well, I've got the microphone, so I guess I'll start. So, when I first started, I took Buffini, which is fantastic. Everybody should do it. More than once, I've only done it once. But I took the basic principles there, and you build your sphere of influence, and that's where I've generated my leads. And it took a while to get things going. The first year I was really fortunate. There's a few people that I knew in the world of cycling that wanted to move, and that really got my career going. However, I kind of went through this cycle, pardon the fun, but I went through those people who needed to buy or sell, and then I didn't have anything. I had no other new leads, and so my head was on a swivel, buying leads, paying for this advertising. Todd said, just focus on your spirit. Do the Buffini thing. But of course, like a kid listening to their parent, didn't listen, spent a bunch of money, wasted a bunch of money, and I don't do it anymore at all. I don't pay for any leads. I don't pay for any advertising, like through AdWords, any of that. I did do it. Threw it all away, got zero return, none. But through my sphere and through my wife's sphere, that's where we have generated all of our leads.
Ditto, Buffini, work our referral. I haven't done the ad leads or the Zillow leads or anything like that.
Don't do it.
Yeah. I just that resonated with me. I didn't feel like I could get in and be successful doing FSBO, Expire, cold call, door knock, Zillow. I just didn't feel like I was going to be able to do that without it sucking my soul dry. Working by referral is hard. You're pushing a rock uphill every day to some degree, but it's and it requires consistency, but it just absolutely blows everything else out of the water. Every time I've slightly modified my plan, referral just spanks it every time. So that's the way to go. Take the meeting.
What's that mean though?
What's what mean?
You get your leads from your sphere.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
So yeah, I'm working.
What's that look? I mean, I think Will up here, as far as I know him, what's that?
I'm the biggest Buffini fangirl is what he was about to say.
Fangirl, but the most systematic. I mean, you like your schedule is so scheduled that I don't get to see you on a Monday or talk to you because Monday is your lead generating. I mean, you're very systematic. Everything's mapped out on the calendar.
And tell the group that Will is the only realtor in the world that likes to prospect. Like, it is his favorite part of the day is lead generation.
I do like lead generation.
You are unique.
So, Buffini working by referral is really all about kind of building relationships with the people that you already know and that are already in your database or your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence is the people that you know today, that you've worked with at some point, or your friends from church, or your kids' parents, and just it's anybody you have a relationship with already, and it's all your past clients, right? Is that what you're kind of asking?
Yeah.
So you basically just have Buffini gives you a system to just build relationships with the people you already know. It's extremely simple. It turns out it's easy to mess up if you're like me, but it's really, really simple. You're not out, doing all these other things. It's just kind of trying to take really good care of the people that you already do. And people, want to work with people they like, know, and trust. And if you are somebody that you've proven your competence to them and you have good character and they're a friend, they're going to use you, right? So if you look at NAR's report, which is like 120 pages, but there's one page I look at every year, and it's the percentage of buyers and sellers. There's one page that says, where did buyers and sellers in 2018 find their real estate agent? That's important stuff. Do you guys feel like that's important to know? Like, how are people making the decision of who they're going to use? So something every year, like 70-75%, is that buyers and sellers basically work by referral. They use an agent that they have used before, someone that they know, or they were referred to by a friend, right? All those things meet referral criteria. The other 25% is distributed on, the other 30 ways people can possibly find real estate agents. So basically is like 75% is the top way, and then the next one drops to like 9%, and then 8%, 7%. So that's where I focus my efforts, that's why it works.
Question for you, Will.
Yeah.
May I ask a question?
One question. I'm going to do my questions and we'll open up the Q&A.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. When you get a referral from one of your sphere, do you send them something? Do you send that person that referred the other person to you something?
I send them a handwritten note that just says, hey Eileen, thanks so much for sending me Pam my way. I'll take excellent care of them. Never too busy if you guys need anything. I appreciate you. And I usually drop a gift card in there.
So what's the Buffini rule on sending those?
So the Buffini rule is you always reward the behavior of them referring you, not if it closes, right? So you're not waiting to see if it closes to say thank you. If I get somebody if Pam refers me someone with a 400 credit score that has no money and no job, she's getting a thank you for referring me that personally, even though it's never gonna close.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah. Sorry, you're just, you're in my blood.
So I took Buffini with Michael as well. I was looking at my numbers yesterday to see, where I was getting my list from. Although I know, but I wanted to have like a more specific number to be able to give you guys. 40% of my transactions this year have been for referral. Another 20% has been family. Family, no, I don't have any family here, friends. My friends are my family. And then the other 40% has been from Facebook. This year I decided I was gonna do with Facebook. I don't pay a penny. I just started doing videos, educational videos. 95% of my transactions has been from Spanish people. So probably, my audience is totally different, and I'm taking advantage of that, looking at a way to educate them and giving them products that specifically fits their needs. And that's how I got my leads this year.
Are you posting these on your feed? Where are you posting these videos?
They are on my feed. I have a business page and I have a personal page. I post them. I make it in my feed and then and my business page, and then post it to my personal page, and then I share it in different pages that I know the public is planning. I've done Buffini personal notes. I love them. Even greeting cards. When I get somebody refer me somebody right away, I just do the same thing he does. I've not been as consistent as I should be, because I know I can do a lot better. But I think that was key. Taking that Buffini training when I started is what helped me going.
And I did not select these people because they all took Buffini. All of you have taken Buffini. I can't select people that haven't.
I took Buffini back in probably 2001. 2001 was the first class. I went and saw him downtown, and then it was just kind of pretty rudimentary as far as all the items of value. You kind of came up with things. I used to go out and deliver Christmas CDs to people, things like that, around Christmas time. And my success, I think, is I'm pretty engaging with people that I know, and I whether I'm walking on as a single on the golf course, I've picked up clients that way, just talking to people, doing things I love to do, and that's where I pick up most of my business. But I would say Buffini has been a huge influence on me, and just the whole philosophy of taking care of people and remembering that your next transaction is embedded in your current transaction. So everyone I look at it as a lifetime relationship, and that's I have a client that's under contract now that I knew 23 years ago when I was a buyer. So that's so keeping in touch with people, and you never know when they're going to need your help, but if you keep in touch, you end up eventually taking care of them.
Say that again. I'm hearing good quotes here. What was your quote about your current transaction?
Your next transaction is embedded in your current transaction. And that came from I did ninja training this year. Earlier in the year, I did a ninja training, which is, they call it an installation, which sounds kind of weird, but it's all the same things as Buffini, but it's just a little bit different. They have some different structure to it, and that's been helpful for me this year as well. So it's and they one of the things they emphasize is the service you provide now, and providing fabled service, and that's, I think, has been a key for as you do this for a while, to remember that, to make sure that you don't get too busy. I always want people to feel like they're my only client, and if I can do that, then I think I'm successful.
That's pretty much what we try to do too. I've taken the Buffini class about 3 times, and I learn something new every time I take it. So we look at, instead of calling it leads, we call them referrals, because we are a referral-based business. And we get most of our referrals from our current clients or our networking partners that we network with. So we follow up with our clients on a continual basis. We take them to lunch, we take them to dinner, we have them to our house. So many of our clients have turned into our friends. And so we spend a lot of time doing things with our clients. And as a result, we get referrals from them. And also another way that we've generated business is open houses. Steve and I have done when we were working the business more together, we did a lot of open houses, and that's where most of our success came from, was doing those together and following up with those people. And again, yeah, that way. And then I've been doing a lot of, like you do, I'm starting to play pickleball, and we do a trivia night, and we do things like that we show up where there's people and they see us on a consistent basis, and they know us now as, oh, you're the real estate agent. I'm like, yeah. So as long as they keep seeing me on a regular basis, they start asking me questions, and eventually I'll be able to get them into my database. You know, I'm not going to jump out and right away, but you know, you kind of groom that relationship, I guess you could say, and so we've had a lot of success that way.
Thanks, Kat. I like the specifics. What are you doing? I like, yeah, you're getting involved, but you let people know what you do. Greg, you mentioned you're walking onto the golf course in the singles. Well, most of us will walk onto the golf course in the singles and go, oh, I got to play with the people. I don't really want to play with people. I don't really know who they are. Somehow you must let them know you're a realtor and you befriend these people. What's that look like? How do you get that mindset versus me going, oh, I have to play with people I don't really know, versus you going, yay, I have an opportunity.
Get excited about
So-
it. Women cannot.
So I think it's really, for me, it really just, you just start asking about what they do. You start asking them questions. And they call them Ford questions, right? Family, occupational, recreation, and dreams, right? So mostly I ask them about their family and occupation. I really don't ask too many people about their dreams, but what their goals are. So you start talking to them, and then they'll ask you what you do, and and then you just keep in touch. I have some clients that have been one of my top referral sources. And open houses as well. That's something I wanted to mention as well. Open houses are something that is still very successful. And when I first got in the business, I did open houses every weekend. Going back 21 years ago, I had a transaction my first 30 days, but then I didn't have any transactions for 6 months. So I was living on my savings, kind of, just scrounging everything together. And so, but then I did this open house consistently, and all of a sudden, I met a dentist that I did 3 transactions with, and then next thing you know, I'm having 6, 7 transactions close in a month, right? So it happens. Open houses can be very, very successful as well. And all you do is the same thing you do with anybody else. You just engage with them, ask them questions, and it's, for me, it's not about constantly asking for referrals, although the prospecting is part of it. Just talking with them and being visible, I think you're going to get the people that you like and trust. They'll like and trust you as well, and you'll expand your business.
So you guys have leads, you got referrals, you got friends, family. What are you guys using to help with your follow-up, stay consistent? You have a closing, what do you do with that person after the closing? It's so easy to drop the ball on people and forget our sphere. What are you guys using to stay consistent in your follow-ups or in your follow-through? Anyone have a specific program, system, calendar? What is it that you're using?
So I have, I'm probably not as religious about this as I should be, but I use a CRM, and I've tried several out. Referral Maker is a good, simple one, but what I've been using, and I like a little better, is Exact Contact, it's called, and it's pretty affordable. And basically, you can set up systems in there, reminders of what you want to do right after the sale. But I always follow up with someone within a day or 2 or 3 after they close to see how they're doing, whether they're a seller or a buyer, how everything's going. And something that I do for people when they close is I have their houses cleaned for them, and so that makes that transition easier as well. And then I follow up on that, make sure that's all done properly. And then I also, on a monthly basis, just to keep in touch, I either use the American Lifestyles magazine, and then 1 month and another month I use a newsletter as far as a mailer, and then it's just a matter of calling people every month. my biggest challenge is getting into the people that are, I would say, my C people and B people. That's something I'm going to work on in the coming year. But I'm probably jumping ahead of the question.
Yeah, that's actually gonna be another question.
but yeah, just using a CRM to make sure that you keep track and you follow up with people, and it reminds you to do.
I'm guilty of that. I start things, then I don't continue to do them, and that's what I fell out this year, but that's a goal pretty soon. I do follow up with all my closings, maybe a week after they've closed to see how everything is going, and you know, to let them know that I'm here. I have people calling me for anything and everything you can imagine to ask, which is nice that they have me on top of their mind. I have a newsletter I send every month in Spanish and in English, because I have 2 audiences, and I've closed 2 transactions out of that newsletter this year. People, you know, that can never return my calls or anything, and then they would reply, you know, can you call us? We want to buy. So with that, I've been consistent. I've used the CRM with Fini. I use it. I don't do it the way I should be doing it, and I know that.
We have a lot of shoulds. Maybe they're just coulds. We could do better. Do a lot of shoulds though.
Yeah.
I use Referral Maker, which is the Fini CRM. So following after closing. So they get to get to closing and close. I always try to, within reason, either drop off pizza on moving day or send it if they're just really far away or I can't get over there, or tacos or just something. It's kind of fun to see them when they're carrying the furniture in, and I just leave lunch and leave and don't pick anything up. And then I mention home warranties during inspection. I always send a home warranty email. And then, so usually in the week after closing, all those things allow me to talk to them 2 to 3 times, which is really nice because it kind of establishes we're going to have a relationship even though we already closed. And so then the next time when I call to invite them to something or to do something, it's not weird. It's not like I'm calling them out of the blue. It just, you know, and I tell them in my notes, hey, even though we're closing, I'm still your realtor. I'm still never too busy if you need anything. And so that it just kind of trains them that, hey, we're gonna stay in touch. So I do that, and then if they're open to it, I always try and go by, you know, a month or 2 after, just to, hey, I'm in the area, can I come by and see, you know, because they like to show, oh, we did this, and then we put this here, and remember this, and yeah, we got this fixed, and they kind of like shop their home. So if I can do that, then if I can do those things, I feel pretty good about it.
I'm very similar to Will. I'll follow up with them a few days later to see how they're doing, and then just keep it real personal. I just ask, you know, you like the neighborhood, you know, how's the remodel going, and stop in and see them, and not even really talk about real estate. Just talk about other things that they're doing. You know, did they find a place to ride their bike, or have they found a place that they like to go for hiking or outside? And then whenever I leave them, then I'll just say, well, if you need anything, you know, that any kind of paperwork or anything else, just let me know. The one thing I do is, and I got it from Stacy, is every year, about in February, March, I'll send out to my clients from the year before all of their closing documents, saying, you know, for tax purposes, you may need these. So I keep in front of them that way, and then also we do a newsletter as well, and then just basic phone calls. I don't have a real system outside of our newsletter, and then also sending out the documents to clients before, and then everything that we always send out. We always just say, hey, if you know anybody, please let us know. We really appreciate it. It's not real complicated.
Do you want to add to that, Kathy?
Yeah, and one of the other things, I do a lot of what you guys do down there too. Come over with pizza for move-in day, because it also gives us a chance to meet some of their friends that are helping them move, so we really like to do that. And then I stopped giving our closing gifts at the closing table. Instead, I wait a couple weeks after closing, and then that gives me a reason to call them and say, hey, we have a gift for you, we want to bring it by and see the house. And usually people are like, oh yeah, come on over. And so that gives us just a reason to pop by afterwards.
Great idea. Good idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Like, oh, we always bring it to the closing.
Yeah.
You got an
Stop
excuse.
doing that.
Yeah. And I really like Will. What you're saying is going back quickly, then it's not this weird we stop by 3 months later, you're like, hi, I just wanted to say. Or you don't. You're like, oh, I haven't stopped by for 3 months. Well, make them a C, fine, I didn't do real good. I mean, it's so easy for us to feel guilty about not staying in touch with people, and then when we're told to stay in touch, we're like, how do I get back in touch? I wasn't very good with staying in. So I love that one, right off the bat, and Mike, you both said just boom and do it several times, so it's not like, yeah, that's the expectation, you're gonna keep seeing me, I'm your realtor, I like that. So, value in this industry is probably one of the hardest things to disseminate to a buyer or a seller, or show, at least in our own minds. A lot of us are like, oh, I don't know what it is I provide, I don't know if I'm better than this guy. The great thing about with referrals is, yes, they already trust you, they already like you, so I mean, that's a huge in when you're working by referral versus someone off the internet. They care less about you, and now you gotta start a relationship from zero. But even though you're getting referred, most of us do know more than one realtor in this world. So there may be a referral, and that person getting referred might be getting referred to 2 agents. What is it that separates you? What is your value proposition? What makes you better than the guy next to you, right here, or the guy or gal out here, or the other company? What is it that's intrinsic in you that you can go, this is why they should be with me? Kathy, you look like you're ready to jump on this.
And if you guys can make sure you're really talking in that microphone.
Yeah, because you're on.
Chris,
you're on.
Yeah, we want to make sure everybody.
I think what Steve and I have going for us is that we work together as a team, and we've had clients tell us that they really like that because they can always get a hold of one of us. If they, if they can't get a hold of Steve, they can get a hold of me. Plus, we both have certain areas in the business that we like to do better or that we're better at. Steve is, one of the benefits that Steve brings is when clients, because we work a lot with first-time home buyers, and if we're going through a house and they don't have the money to spend on multiple inspections, Steve's, got a lot of house building behind him. He can fix anything, he can repair anything, build anything. So we can walk through a house, and if it looks like there's going to be issues, that's something that Steve can say, you know what, I think you're going to have a lot of problems in this house, or it's not going to pass, inspection, or this or that, and people like that. He, when we're working with people that are buying new builds, he can be there during that whole process and show up, and those are benefits. We just met with a buyer this week, a new buyer, and that was the reason he said that he chose us, because of the person that referred us, that he's great with our new build, and he really helped us a lot. And so yeah, I think it's mostly for us anyway. It's working together as a team. And
what's your motto or your tagline?
Together we work harder.
Steve and Kathy harder.
So, yeah.
I think for me, it's really my confidence in the contracts and being able to explain that to people, being able to show them a systematic approach. They know that I'm going to give them a real answer to what they should do with their house, and also I really try to go a step beyond in terms of organizing everything for them. If I anticipate something is going to happen, I get a hold of them first instead of waiting for them to think that it can call. I'm going to try to be a step ahead of the game, and I think that shows. And I will, I arrange all the contractors. I do everything as far as any inspection items. I just take it upon myself to do those things, and as a part of the service. And I think that's something that and I have a system in place for listings. As far as trying to show them every step of the way, a flow chart, everything's going to happen, and then follow up on that and communicate with them regularly. And I'm accessible. They know that they can reach me, and we're going to, not just, it's like I'm not going to be a secret agent. So I think those things, and everyone, I think it's hard to, I think it's doing as opposed to saying, and that is probably what differentiates me from some people, but I think a lot of you do the same thing. So, you know, it's not really a tagline, I guess, if you will. It's more of what I do. Does that make any sense?
No, that's great. And if you're newer to the business and you're thinking, I haven't been in the business for 20 years, I can't compete against someone who's been in the business for 20 years. The guy who's been in the business for 20 years didn't talk about being in the business for 20 years. He talked about knowing the contracts, being accessible, having a plan. Well, I can be day one in the real estate business, brand new to the business. You do not need to say, I've been doing this for so. You need to say, these are the things I can provide. People want things provided to them. They could care less how long you've been doing it. You might not have been doing it for 20 years well. So you don't fall on, I've been doing it for 20 years, I'm the best. No, I'm the best because these are the things I do. So that was great.
I have put and continue to put a lot of time into learning. Every training that I see an opportunity to learn something new and go and take it. I'm not the expert, but at least if somebody asks me anything, I'll be able to say something and probably redirect them and tell, you know, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna make 100% sure that I'm telling you is what it is. So that has really set me aside, and I've heard that from my clients. I had a client that had worked with 3 different agents. And when she came, she said, you know, the things that anything I ask you, you always have an answer, and I like that. I'm very accessible. Lately, I have to put my boundaries and limitations because I have 2 kids, but I've learned to do that. And you know, at the beginning, I needed to close transactions. I needed the money, so I would do whatever. Now I just put some boundaries that I think people understand it, because when they call under and if they call and I don't answer, they know that it's because I'm busy right now. But I think that what really has set me aside is that I do genuinely and truly care for my buyers. From the first appointment that I have, I let them know this is about them. You know, that I'm not gonna buy the house for them, that I'm not gonna push them to make any decisions they're not ready to make. And right there, they automatically trust me. It's incredible the relationship that I develop with those people. You know, they might become friends for now, but then they know they can call me and whatever they ask, I'll truly and genuinely help them to their best interest. It's not about me. So I think that's what set me apart from other agents.
Yeah, when I sit down with people, we're all realtors. What do you do? I'm a realtor. So, you know, if you look at the polling, people trust realtors as much as they trust politicians in Washington, right? So you are already having to overcome that a little bit. They're already kind of just, you know, doing this. Has anybody been in an appointment where they're just kind of doing this to you? So I tell them up front, hey, a big part of my job is to help people look at their options. I don't need you to buy or sell our house. I work by referral. For me, it's just about the relationships. How can I help you? And a lot of times that kind of immediately, they relax a little bit, especially the first time home buyers, the people that are just kind of have no idea what's going on. That really helps them, just to a serious point. But value proposition. So for me, I tell them I work by referral. Most agents don't, right? And so this is just taken straight from Brian Buffini's thing. It's just cut and paste. But basically, you know, any kind of consultation, I just tell them, you know, so I work by referral, and what that means for you is that my whole business is built on relationships and referrals. When someone comes to me and asks for help, I just try to take really good care of them. And the fact that I'm sitting here in front of you today means that in the past, because I'm working by referral and I'm not doing cold calling or sell by and all these other things they teach you to do in real estate school that everybody else does, because I don't do those, it just means that I can work harder for you. Because normally what happens is when a real estate agent gets you in a contract, because of the nature of their business and that they don't tend to have as much to support them as they need, as soon as they get you in a contract, if they're working for sale by owners, expires, cold calls, all these other things, they have to go right back to doing that. So they kind of put you on autopilot and just let the transaction go and start looking for the next deal. Well, I'm not going to do that because I don't have to. My job is I'm going to keep my head down, working really hard for you. I'm going to dot all the I's across all T's. You're going to hear from me weekly with updates. If you need anything, I'm never too busy. You just reach out and take care of you. That's how my business operates, and that's why, and then I'll reference whoever I got the referral from, you know, Theo and Holly sent you to me, is because, and I'll talk about the transaction, I'll leverage that relationship a little bit and just say, listen, I'm here for the relationship, I'm going to stay in touch with you after we close, and I'm still going to be able to help, and that's just kind of how I run my business. Maybe that's a good fit, or even if it is, I'd be happy to take care of you. So I just really, I got that from Buffini, but I really just kind of harp on the referral piece, And then I always will try and tie in, that's kind of my general, everybody gets that. I'll try and throw in something specific too. So if it's a buyer who wants something between 200 and 400, I'll tell them, yeah, listen, this is one of my favorite parts of the job. I average 1.3 offers per buyer. So we're probably gonna write one offer. We might write 2, but we're certainly not gonna write 4 or 10. I know you had a friend who mentioned they looked for 10 months, wrote, they did 70 showings and 10 offers. That's just not gonna happen, right? Or if it's a seller and we're in a neighborhood, I'll leverage my knowledge of that or whatever. So something general, something specific.
Yeah, so basically pretty much the same as everybody here. And for me, what I do is I make it a priority to make my clients feel like they are the most important person to me, and my wife too. And they are our priority, period. And had a couple of times we've had a couple of transactions at the same time, and that's been a little hard to do, but I've been able to pull that off, I think, pretty well. And then also try to keep it low pressure. We had a client, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this same thing. Somebody has moved in to the area, they're gonna rent for a while. We had a client moved in here, they took a 2-year lease. They knew they were gonna buy. So we're like, okay, you guys, here's what you're gonna be faced with. You wanna buy a home in Roxborough. Well, in 2 years, property values down there are gonna go up by this much, and here's the data that shows that. So, and I said, let's start looking now, because this is where you guys wanna live. And if you see the home that you just have to have, now you can wait and hope it's still for sale, or we can write an offer. And what do you think is gonna happen in 2 years? Well, it's probably gonna be gone. So they decided, I just, as low pressure as I could, let them know, this is what you guys want, this is where you wanna be, you're gonna pay more. So they ended up breaking their lease. But before they did that though, we got them with their lender, we had them do a net sheet, we did a price breakdown. And that took some time to do that, to show them, look, you're gonna spend this much money on breaking your lease, and then you're gonna spend this much money if you rent. But I mean, we just really got into the details with them, and just stepped away, let them make their decision. So, but at the same time, they were the most important people to us. That's how they felt. They thanked us for that at the end.
Awesome. I'm gonna open up for Q&A. I had a couple other questions, but we're running out of time, so I want to make sure you guys, if you had a question on the store, we're here, but Dawn.
So, overall, I'm not hearing that a ton of you are spending money. I hear you did the magazine, you do the magazine, Greg. Where are you guys putting money? I mean, that's the biggest issue that I find, is I can throw money everywhere. I'm spending $300 this month on home snap ads. I shouldn't be. I don't think. Should we?
I don't know. Well, I am one to experiment too much, really. So, and especially when it comes to listing advertising, because I want my clients to get the maximum exposure. And so I think it's important to do some of those things. But you're right, whittling it down as far as what has really brought business. Those things haven't brought any business to me. And some of the things I do, it's for exposure for my clients' listings, and they like that. They like to see those things, but it's minimal. It's minimal, and it's per listing. It's not something ongoing. But there's things I've tried, like you say, and I've gotten rid of pretty much most everything, and it's mainly the newsletters are the printing costs for those, and the lifestyle magazine. I've gotten really good feedback from that. I don't send that to everyone, only about 70 people now. So not everyone gets that, and then about 200 people get my other newsletter.
So we mostly just spend money on the mini marketing. We send out the marketing report, the item of value every month, and then we do the email report. And other than that, we really don't spend money advertising, other than just doing one-on-ones with our clients and spending time with them, doing that sort of thing. And one thing we did just do, and we'll see if it's going to pay off, is we just did a mailer to our neighborhood, just to see what would happen, just as an experiment.
You wanna jump on this, Will?
Yeah, so if you do Buffini, they're just gonna have you do, they're gonna supply you everything, but you'll do a monthly mailer, through the mail. You'll do an e-report. I do coaching for $500 a month, and so I talk to a coach twice a month from Buffini. And then I spend money on client parties and occasionally Popeyes. So it's actually, you don't need to spend a ton of money.
Yeah, I'm not gonna answer for all these people, other than Rocio. I know that they all do parties. Rocio, do parties or not?
No.
No, but I know Mike,
I do.
at least I talk about
Yeah,
it,
we
Mike.
do.
I hope we're
We
doing your
talk
pizza.
about you all the
I'm like,
time.
we've been to Mike's pizza party before. I don't know if you're still doing that, but I mean, your little get-togethers are just, he's low-key, it's fun, it's just, so.
And we don't talk about real estate.
No, it's just fun.
But he makes awesome Italian.
So, the one thing, I spend money on, Front Range 360, and, you know, you get those email blasts, we all get them.
Yeah.
Price reduction low. So, but what I do is I make sure my client gets it, and even though it's for them, really, I mean, it gets them in front of people who subscribe to Front Range 360, but it's my client who loves it, and it's not that expensive, it's like $32 a month.
What's Front Range 360?
So that's email blast marketing, goes out to a bunch of agents.
So it's for a listing.
It's for a listing.
So once
yes,
you
for a
got it,
listing.
once you have the business, then you'll market, like Greg will spend money. But you're talking about trying to generate leads.
Generate leads,
generate.
promote yourself, that's more what that's more what I was after.
Any of you guys spending money to have
I
somebody send you leads?
I spend a bunch of money on it, zero.
But your pizza party, you do
Pizza party is
monthly?
great, works
Monthly?
great, yep,
And you're just inviting your sphere of influence and pastimes?
yep.
And that's free?
No. But I mean, we can feed a lot of people, everybody has a blast, everybody brings wine. We're gonna eat anyway.
You get it right off the line.
Right
But
off.
he keeps
Right off.
it intimate. It's not 100 people.
No.
It's 15 people.
At
It's
most.
12 people.
At most, yeah.
It's
It's usually around 10 people.
10 people.
I like that, because I do big events. I'll do like a Rockies game, and I'll have 100 people, or I'll do a pie party, before Thanksgiving, I'll do that again, and then last year we had about 65, last year with a pie party. We had a pie party right before Thanksgiving, and last year I kinda went over the top, I did Eater's pies, and it was a huge hit. I think we had 65 people at my house, and, it was a lot of fun. We catered it ourselves. We're not gonna do that this year.
A lot of work.
It was quite a lot of work, but people love our cooking, so. But that, parties are a big part of my, I wouldn't say marketing, it's just my lifestyle. And so that's where I get together with people and, just stay in front of people is really what it's all about.
Other question? Eileen?
A few of you are using newsletters, and it sounds like you're getting those newsletters from Buffini. Is that correct, or are you creating your own? And then how is it mailed? Paper?
So Buffini provides every month an item of value, and you can either have them mail it, it's a little bit more money, or you get it sent to you, and you mail it out yourself.
And it's personalized for you?
Yes, well, you have your logo and everything on there, your name on the item of value, and then you mail it out yourself.
I'm curious how many of you are actually doing email drip campaigns.
Yeah, I send an email every month. I used to do, I know that Equity does newsletter. You can just copy and paste and personalize. At the beginning I used to do that. Then now I just do my own. I have my database on MailChimp, but since I have to do English and Spanish and it gets email, it takes me like maybe 20 minutes to put each together because I've already, managed how to use it and everything. Yeah, that's my email every month.
So I make my own newsletter. I might pull my own material, and I try to put something in there that really is like, oh, that's interesting. So I get comments about that all the time. Loved your newsletter, the content was great. I actually read it. And then we hand write their addresses. We're up to 275 now. It takes a long time But, I mean, we all get stuff in the mail with pre-printed, or just in first thing, you know, you do is, I do it, I just throw it away. So I handwrite it.
I find it so, the balance is very tricky because some people just hate email drips. Another email comes in, they're gonna hate me. But then if I send them paper, it's like, what about the landfill I need?
We kill a few trees. I don't, we don't do any email.
Other questions?
Well, and I can add something to that because I was on a networking once, and some of the people said, you know, I don't want to do it every month because then it's not gonna read it. Probably most of the people won't read it, but they'll know they got something from you. So your name is there every month saying, you know, Rocio Cantelli, Equity Colorado. So I don't know if they'll read it or not. I know that they're gonna see me there every month. Otherwise, they wouldn't see me. So
I see Rocio in my email inbox every single month. She has me on her mailing list, and it comes through every single month. She's very, very consistent about it, and it doesn't bother me that I get an email from her or any of you. I like seeing what you're doing, and when you're marketing to your sphere and people that care about you, they want that interaction. So don't ever feel like, oh, I'm pestering them. Send your stuff out. I like getting it.
I get Mike's. I get Katie Markman's. I get Dick Stevenson's. I get every single, and they're nice. And Katie does a wonderful job. You need to talk about how to make a newsletter. She does awesome jobs. Mike does awesome jobs. Greg's got a company locally that does them. We've got the marketing. I mean, don't overthink this, people. Send it every single month and send it by mail because, like Rocio said, they see it, they see it, they see it. You send it once a year, once a quarter. If there's nothing in between, they are not thinking of us as much as we are thinking of them. I guarantee you. But they are hearing buyers and sellers every single day, every week, every month. But they're not calling us because they're not thinking of us that much. Unless you guys are constantly in front of them, doing something, a party, a newsletter, a this, a that. And it's just got to be a nice, consistent thing. I mean, not rocket science. They're all doing the same thing. And it's working for all of you. It's not like, I found it. I found the magic. They're all doing the same thing. They're staying in front of people. One more question?
For Kathy, you had, and this might apply to others. You had mentioned at the beginning that when it's great, and you love it, and then you have those times when it's just kind of like, ugh. And then you said you had something to speak to on that.
Well, so this last year's been a really hard year for us because we kind of didn't work the partnership. So I was kind of on my own. And then my daughter came and visited with her kids and they stayed with us for 2 months and then we were gone for a month. And so I haven't done anything in my business in the last few months. It's pretty much been stagnant. So then I got back home just recently from our trip and I thought, okay, I gotta get back into doing this business again. And so I went back to the roots, to Buffini. Okay, what am I supposed to be doing? Okay, I found that if I do the steps, if I do what Buffini says to do, start making calls, start sending out notes, then it's working. And I'm finding that so I kind of used an analogy of, I was telling Steve the other day, this is kind of like canning. I love to can, okay? Because I love the results. I love to look at all the jars on the table after I've done it, and it's great. But the thing with canning is there's certain steps that you have to take to make it safe. So I'm a stickler for making sure I do it right. I follow the recipe to the T. And so I said it's kind of like that with real estate. You have a system, it's like a recipe, and you follow it. And that's what Buffini is. It's a recipe on how to do real estate. And so as long as I'm following the recipe with him, with what he's taught me, I have success. And just by being back here, I've only been back home 2 weeks. I've already started making my calls. I've already started sending out my notes. And I've had 2 appointments. I've already got a new buyer and I've got a listing and a buyer. It's because I started back calling people. They're like, oh yeah, how you been? Yeah. You know, and they're happy to hear from me. And I thought, okay, I feel really good, just like when I can. And then I'm like, okay, I want to do more. What else can I can today? You know, it's like, okay, who else can I call? Who else can I reach out to and just, you know, reconnect with? And then I'm really feeling good again. So I think you just gotta do the steps.
So by a show of hands, who here has had an up or down year? It's the up and down.
Yeah.
Up and, it's the business. It's the nature of the business, and that is why we do a sales meeting for you guys. I don't have a microphone. This is why we have sales meetings for you people. It's to try and keep you guys consistent, to try and learn something and remind you of something and meet somebody that they're all busy. Well, I thought the market was horrible. I watched CNN and Fox, and they said we're in recession. And really, we've got someone over here who's the #1 agent in the entire company of Equity Colorado, 4,000 agents. Who at the beginning of the year, what did you tell us beginning of the year, Eileen?
She's not listening.
Did you not call Stacy and I beginning of the year and say, oh my gosh, I have nothing going on?
It was last year.
Or was it last year?
It was last year. It was, well, no, I think we talked. You called me because you had this vibe that something was going on.
I can tell. I can tell when you guys are.
It was like this little vibe came in. It's like, look,
Are
we've all
you killing
been there.
it this year?
Right.
Is
I'm
it
killing it
nuts?
this year. Last year, beginning of the year, sucked.
But you just go back to work, is all I'm trying to say. Go back to work, go back to work, go back to work. Tony and then.
Yeah, I was saying, sometimes those peaks and valleys, I don't mind because it is so intense when it's so high. And then sometimes that little valley I enjoy because it gives me a chance to refresh, recruit, and then be able to get back up there, you know, because it's so hard to stay here all the time.
I totally agree with you. And if you have a system that is in place and you know that the things are still happening, when it slows down, you can go, it's okay. Because my newsletter's going out, my magazine's going out, still sending out my thank you cards, I'm still sending out a birthday card. It's a little bit of a lull. You don't need to freak. If you're not doing anything, then you freak out and you don't take advantage of the downturn because you're like, oh my God, you're in panic. But if you have a system, then you can feel comfortable that, well, it's just that time of year and it's okay for me to go for a nice bike ride. Time to take a vacation. What happens when you take a vacation? You get busy. That's just what happens.
Always.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say for anybody who really enjoyed and got something out of the panel today, I really invite you, whether you do it online or come in, we have our Wednesday mentor meetings. And this is exactly what we do every Wednesday, is we have people, everybody from new agents to experienced agents, and just share ideas like this. How do you do your mailers? How do you do your newsletters? So join us on Facebook. Paul has every one of those meetings online, or come in and share your ideas. It's a great way to learn.
Nice plug for a mentor. And we don't know what else to call the thing, so that's why we call it. It's definitely for new. If you're new, you have to show up for this because you're so clueless. You don't know what to even do. You've got to show up for this. But yeah, we've got. Yeah, you don't know. It's scary. You
But
don't
yeah, we
know.
have you bring your questions and we answer your questions where you are in your transaction. And like Philip said, then we share also other ideas about business and marketing and yeah.
It's fun.
It's
They're
enjoy it.
only under 30 years.
Anyone can show up.
Anyone can come.
Anyone can. We just highly recommend if you're not doing much business, I don't care if you've been in business for 20 years. If you're not doing much, you need to be coming because something's not working right. So show up. Yeah.
And if I can add real quick, a great energy booster for me has been listening to the Book Finis podcast. I put them in the car when I'm feeling down, and that just boosts me up. So I do highly recommend listening to those.
Can we give our panelists a huge round of applause? Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. This is big. You guys are. I've seen 4 of them start as brand new agents, and you know what the look is on a brand new agent. We can see a few of them. They're scared, they're nervous, they're not confident, they don't know what. And to watch someone when you start succeeding in this industry and to see your pride and your confidence and you stand taller and you talk smarter and you walk strong, it's fun to see. And I'm proud of you guys. Greg, you've been doing it a long time. I didn't see you as a brand new guy. You've been doing it. You're always awesome. So again, I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
30. This is your guys' sales meeting, so it's up to you if you want to pitch something, and if you gotta go, I understand you gotta go, because we're all busy people here. But if you want to pitch something, you'll at least be online, and we'll save it, and we'll send out the letter and all that good stuff still. So if you have a listing, jog on up here and pitch your listing.
And then while people are coming up, can I give a pitch for our class next Wednesday?
So real quick, as everyone congregates for the listing presentation, in lieu of the mentoring roundtable that we just talked about for next Wednesday, I'm bringing in RE Colorado to show us how to pull statistics from their InfoSparks program. So everybody needs to know what's going on in the market. You should have your elevator speech. Come next Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. to 11. 2 free CE credits, and we're going to teach you how to pull statistics, not only for general areas like Denver Metro, city specific, and even neighborhood specific, and we can dial it down to how do I compare East Wash Park to West Wash Park. So please join us. We need at least 10 people for RE Colorado to come to our office. I've been begging them to come teach a class. It's been 10 years, and we're getting them to come directly to us. So if you haven't RSVP'd, I think we have 8 seats still open. Let us know. We'd love to.
What time is that?
9 a.m., 9 to 11, 2 CE credits in our conference room at the office.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ashley Bullerdick, and I have a listing that actually went live on Tuesday. It's in Clark Farms in Parker, 11209 Jansen Street, and it's on the market for $395. 3 bedroom, 3 bath, and about 2,800 square feet. Unfinished basement. There is 1 little bedroom in the basement that's partially finished. So.
Do you have the MLS for it? You have
yeah, it's right here. Let me just have it. Let's see, 779-0330.
Thank you.
Hi again, Rocio Cancelli. I have a property in Castle Rock, 163 South Carlton Street, a single family home, 4 bed, 4 bath, about 2,200 square feet, going on the market on Saturday, 303-83-405. 375, did I say that?
No, you didn't.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Philip Candela. We currently have what I'll call a landmark listing over at the Landmark Towers. In the east building, it is 1,400 square feet, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. If you've never seen the building, it is an incredible place to live with tons of restaurants and amenities, all within walking distance. I comped this listing out at $750,000. My buyer is ready to move. They have listed it at $710,000. If you do have anybody you'd like to show and you want to call me, I'm happy to meet you over there as well and give you a tour of both buildings so that you see all the amenities as well as the condominium. It is MLS number 6260200. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Kasha Tuzis, and I have a new listing that went active last Friday, and the address is 19907 East Crestline Place, and it's in Centennial, Smoky Ridge. We listed 435, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathroom. It's 3,000 square feet with the basement, and it's a walkout basement, corner lot, new carpet. It's pretty clean, needs a little bit of upgrades, but a great home. If you have dogs or family, the basement can be pretty much used for a separate entrance on the side of the house. So if you have a buyer, contact me at 720-212-3684. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mindy Sanders. I have a listing that went live last Friday. Very motivated sellers. We're about to drop the price tomorrow by $10,000. This is a listing in basically Littleton. It's a little pocket of Littleton that's technically Denver. It's over by Governor's Ranch, 4782 South Gar Way. It's a 3 bedroom, 3 bath. We're dropping price to $425, and home has basically all new systems, roof, furnace, AC, everything. It just needs a little bit of cosmetic TLC. Total square feet are 2637. And the MLS number is 3125522. And my number is 303-520-5327. I also have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Penn Carroll if anyone wants additional information. And then I have a coming soon in Centennial in Bristol Cove, which is a 2-bedroom, 4-bath townhome in the Arapahoe High School feeder area. And that will probably be listed at about $375.
What's the address for that one?
That one is 7640 South Cove Circle, Centennial 80122.
Perfect, thank you.
Is that 2-story?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Vicki Opapari, and I have an upcoming listing. It will go live on Friday. 13579 at Simmons Way. It's in Morris Heights, so real close to the VA hospital. It will be listed at $325. And it's a 4-bedroom bi-level, main floor. All the wood floors on it have been refinished, all new carpet, all new paint inside and out. It has it's a large yard. I can't remember what the dimensions are, but my name is Vicki Opapari, and it's 720-412-1269.
Thank you. Okay. Winding down here, guys. Thanks for hanging out. There's good information we have. So let's hand out some Power Professional Awards. Get your picture taken if you're here. We'll congratulate everyone at the same time. Aaron Moore, congratulations. Beth Strong, and again, if you're here, please come up here. Bobby Barajas, 3 transactions. Congratulations, Bobby. Julie Felsen, Power Pro. Caitlin Tran, 3 transactions. Get your picture and stay up here. Please stay up here for a group photo. Please stay up here. Kevin Tiffin, are you still here? I think he just left. 5 transactions, Kevin. Congratulations. Mark Baker, Mary Decker's on herself out in San Francisco. Matthew Mozzarella, are you still here, Matt? Congratulations, Matt. Michelle Donahue, Nancy Madonna, 3 transactions. Stephanie Fellhauer. Tony Fortson, you're still here. 4 transactions, Tony. Nice job. Will Davis had to just skate out of here. Thank you for being up here. But 6 months in a row, Power Pro.
Wow. Hey,
Consistency. Top Listing Award, Vicki Opapari. Congratulations, Vicki. 1 million in listings. And our Top Sales Agent Award with 5 transactions at 2.5 million, Eileen Kitko. Wow. Those transaction award as well, Eileen and Power Pro. Now we can give everybody a big round of applause. Good job, guys. All your flair.
Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your week.
Get a picture of your mouth.
Hey, Matthew.